The WPL D12 has been around for a little while now. I recently featured it on my channel and I have to say I was pleasantly surprised as to how good it actually was. Now I see that there was a brand new mini version, a 1/16 scale version, so I asked the guys at Asia RC Depot if they would be kind enough to send me one to test out on the channel, and they thankfully said yes, and here it is. We are going to test out the brand new 1/16 scale CXD D12 Mini truck. I'm very, very excited, so let's get straight into it. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new CXD Mini D12 truck. Now when I tested out the 1/10 scale version here on my channel, I was pleasantly surprised as to how good it actually was. It's also quite cheap, it looks great, very, very surprised, and I have to say that was one of the most enjoyable little RC trucks I've tried in quite a long time. Now, when I heard they made a mini version, I couldn't wait to test one out, which is why the guys at Asia RC Depot agreed to send me one of these to test out on the channel, and today we are going to take a closer look. So we're going to do this video pretty much how we do all the videos here on the channel. We'll get it unboxed, we'll find out what we get, we'll take a closer look at the truck itself, talk about some of the nice features, we'll then head out and see how it performs, and right at the end of the video I'll give you my opinion, my final thoughts as to whether or not it's actually worth getting one. So let's do that now, let's get it unboxed and find out what we get. But before we do that, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the latest RC content. We recently hit 1 million views on the channel, and that is a crazy milestone. The next big milestone is going to be 10,000 subscribers. We're getting very close. Let's make it happen, guys. Hit that button and stay up to date. Right, so let's take a quick look at what we get in the box with our little Mini D12. Now we'll start with the battery. It's a 500 milliamp hour single lithium ion cell, and that should give us a decent amount of runtime on such a small truck. We've got a screwdriver, a USB charger, and that should get the little battery charged in about an hour. A basic black and white manual, which does cover all the basic stuff that you need to know to get you up and running. And then finally, the transmitter. The transmitter that you get with this little truck is essentially just a scaled down version of the larger one that you get with the 1/10 scale truck. Now we've still got our steering trim, we've also got our throttle rate, which means we can adjust our high and low settings for our throttle. The only thing this doesn't have is an adjustment for our steering rate. So we've had a closer look at what we get in the box. There really is only one thing left to do, and that is to have a look at the CXD Mini D12. It really does look great, it looks exactly like the larger version, so let's not waste any time. Let's take a look at the brand new CXD Mini D12. And here it is. This is the CXD Mini D12, and as you can see it does look pretty much identical to the larger 1/10 scale version. All the little details there, all the little scale accessories are there. We've got our mirrors, our windscreen wipers, we've got the roll cage on the back there. All the little details that we know and love on the larger version are all present and correct on this little 1/16 scale version. So when we look at this little truck, we do think to ourselves, well, apart from being smaller, there really isn't that many changes that have been made to this little thing. Well, actually there are a few changes, and I think the noticeable one is how the power is actually sent to the rear wheels now. As we know, it is a rear wheel drive truck, but the power delivery on this is a little bit different. On the 1/10 scale version, the motor is sort of mounted in the middle, and then you've got a drive shaft which sends the power to the back. Whereas on this, we've sort of got like a direct drive sort of system. The motor is mounted directly to the axle, and that is a little bit different to the larger version. We've still got a fairly decent sort of suspension setup. We've got independent springs on the front there, and we've also got springs on the rear. Doesn't feel too bad, a little bit bouncy, but we do have to remember this is a tiny little truck. You know, it's not going to be the best performer when it comes to your suspension setup. And in a way, it's sort of like a bit of a novelty item. If you've got the larger version and you really, really like it, if you go for one of these, it's really going to look good on your shelf. Or if you do decide to take it out, which is what we're going to do today, I have no doubts that it's going to perform really, really well. Now, the wheels and tyres on this are pretty much identical to the larger version, just scaled down a little bit. It's the same firm rubber that we get, and they don't feel too bad. And I know the larger version performs quite well with its included wheels and tyres, so I have no doubt, again, these are going to perform absolutely fine. Now, in case you're wondering where the battery actually sits on this, we do have to remove this little cover here. That is where your single 500 milliamp hour cell lives. Plug it into there and off you go. Now, even though this is the 1/16 scale version, CXD really haven't skimped on the details, and if you have a look in there, you can see that there is a steering wheel. We've also got a full interior, and again, it's pretty much exactly like the 1/10 scale version. The LED lights on this thing look very, very good. Again, they're very similar to the 1/10 scale version. They're a nice deep yellow colour, and again, they add to the scale realism. Another really nice feature on this is the fact that it has got fully proportional steering, which on a truck of this size is sometimes rare to actually come across, and I really like the fact that it has got fully proportional steering, and I know later on when I get this out, it's going to perform really, really well, because fully proportional steering really does make a huge difference. So we've had a look at what we get in the box. We've also had a closer look at the truck itself. I've got the battery on charge. There's really only one thing left to do, and that is to get this out. We'll see how it performs. We'll also see how it performs compared to the 1/10 scale version. Very excited to get this little truck out. So let's do that now. Let's head out and see how we get on. Somehow, whilst transporting this, I've managed to lose one of the windscreen wipers, as you can see there. That's a little bit of a shame. It might be in the car. Well, it could have fallen out in my bag, so I'm going to have a look for that. But, yeah, it's what it is. Right, so let's see how this little truck performs then. So that is full throttle, just getting it trimmed out a little bit. Now, this is on the lower throttle setting, or throttle rate. It's fairly slow, but it's still nice and controllable. We'll try the turning circle out. We'll see how tight this thing can turn, and again, that is very, very impressive. Pretty much what we see on the full size 1/10 scale version by WPL. We do have to remember this is by CXD. The owner of WPL decided he wanted to make a mini version, which is why we have the 1/16 scale version here with us today, and I think he's done very, very well, because it certainly feels exactly like the larger version and it looks identical. So what we'll do is we'll switch this up to the higher throttle rate setting, which is going to give us a little bit more speed. And that has made the overall truck feel a little bit more bouncy, but it's not toppling over. We are on a slightly bumpier surface than normal. It's pretty much the same surface that we tested out the full size version, the 1/10 scale. I wanted to try and replicate that test as much as possible to see how this felt compared to that. And I have to say, it does feel very, very similar when it comes to handling and, you know, general performance. Obviously the bigger one's going to be slightly faster because it does have the bigger motor. This thing has only got a 130 sized brushed motor and it is tiny. Still very, very fun. And as I said, they have done very well to replicate all the great things that the slightly larger one has. They've managed to, you know, pack all of those great features into this tiny little package, and they have done very well. So the fact this little thing's got fully proportional steering really does make a huge difference. I've tried other RCs out of this sort of scale before, and they didn't have proportional steering, and they're just not very nice to sort of drive about. This is a lot nicer, and you can definitely feel the difference when it comes to that proportional steering. Plus we've also got proportional throttle as well. We can go really, really slow, or we can speed up. It just adds to that realism, those scale features that we love in these scale RCs. Yeah, they really have done very well with this one. So big thank you to CXD, but not only that, big thank you to the guys at Asia RC Depot. They were kind enough to send this to me to test out on the channel, and I am going to leave a link in the description below for you guys to check this out on their website. You'll be able to see the full spec. If there's anything I've missed, and I don't ever claim to be an expert, and most of the time I do miss some things, check the full spec out. And if you want one of these, grab one while you can, because I can see these things selling out quite soon. The 1/10 scale versions have been popular for a little while now, and I recently did that video on the channel. So if you do want to get one of these, head over to the Asian RC Depot. They're selling for about £34 at the moment to us here in the UK. I'm not sure what that is in dollars, but they do ship worldwide. So grab one while you can, because they really do look fantastic. This thing was a lot of fun today. It's got a nice tight turning circle, just like the 1/10 scale version, and it looks fantastic. It's got all the same scale details as the larger version as well. They really have done well here, CXD, and I am a massive fan. So guys, we're going to leave the video there today. I really hope you enjoyed seeing this little Mini D12 in action. If you did, drop a comment down below and let me know. If you haven't already seen the 1/10 scale version on the channel, I will leave a link down below for you to head over to that video to check that one out as well. But apart from that, we're going to leave it there today. Cheers for watching guys, and I'll see you again soon on the next one. Take care.